Welcome to Leader Lifestyle Hub. As we have set the target of completing 200 book summaries in the entire year, here comes the book number 193. The name of the book that we have today is Alchemy, written by Rory Sutherland. Without any delay, let us see the target audience and top 3 lessons. Target audience: the 45-year-old brand manager who feels like they don't understand their customers very well. The 29-year-old entrepreneur who, with a lot of great ideas, that wants to make sure they'll really work. And any creative who is having a hard time breaking out of logical thinking. Let us move on to the small synopsis. Alchemy is your guide to making magic happen in business and life by teaching you how to practice irrational thinking to stand out and come up with the powerful solutions to your problems and those of others. Let us listen from the Rory Sutherland. Before going further, let us see who is this Rory Sutherland. He's an author of this book as well as vice chairman of Ogilvy UK and founder of the Behavioral Science Patients. He writes the Spectacular's Wikiman column, presents the series for BBC Radio 4, serves as an advisory board of the Evolution Institute, and former president of the IPA. Let us see the quotation from the author himself. It is much easier to be fired for being illogical than it is for being unimaginative. The fatal issue is that logic always gets you to exactly the same place as your competitors. Do you like magic? I don't mean the cheap card tricks that your uncle uses to impress you. I am talking about when everything seems to work out so well that it could only have come from a spell. While this kind of occurrence is not usual, it is possible to plan to make it happen, especially in brands and business. But to do so, you have got to abandon your typical thinking for a belief in a little wizardry. It's not too difficult once you try to think outside the box and realize that not all people act rationally. This is what you will learn about in Rory Sutherland's Alchemy, the dark art and curious science of creating magic in brands, business, and life. This book will help you apply abstract thinking to really stand out and see the money and success start rolling on. Let us move on to the top 3 lessons. Here are the 3 best magic tricks I have learned from this book. Companies like to treat humans as if they all behave in a predictable, rational way, but we don't. Changing the small things that seem insignificant can have a big impact on the way people act. The average customer does not exist. You should instead cater to the outliers for better success. Are you ready to learn some new spells? Let's begin. Let us see lesson number 1. Knowing that people must most often act irrationally is a great foundation for finding ways to get ahead of your competition. It's easy to compartmentalize people into the little boxes of behavior or demographics. People act in just the way we think they do, right? It's easy to correctly assume that choice of a person will make in any given situation, isn't right? Actually, this is far from the truth. While science and reason have given us revolutionary changes upon which our society is built, they don't give an accurate baseline for the way people choose to act. In the case of brands, the majority of people favor some over the others, often with no logical reason. Take dental hygiene as an example. Did you know that people prefer to use toothpaste that has different colors of stripe in it? There is not an easily identifiable advantage to this kind, like a brush with multiple colors of stripes. So why does it happen? It's a matter of ingenious design. That extra color stripe in your toothpaste bottle makes it feel like you are getting more out of it. To our brains, it is as if we are getting multiple benefits. We get the illusion that it is more effective than the regular kind. Irrationality governs that way we act, which makes it difficult to make accurate assumptions about people. This is what causes so many businesses to fail. Let us move on to the lesson number 2. The little things may seem insignificant, but they really make the biggest difference on people's actions. So now that you know the importance of abstract thinking, how can you apply it? Start by looking at the little details that most people don't even think twice about. Many businesses today are spending a pretty penny on trying to figure out their customers. It's as if they are trying to get the next big breakthrough. But thinking in such gigantic terms is missing the small things that can make the most difference. The power in microscopic adjustments is in the butterfly effect, which is when one tiny change gets magnified throughout the system to make a huge difference. One example the author saw was a publisher that added just 4 words to a telemarketing script. This small difference made sales conversions double. It might seem difficult to wrap your head around this principle, but the sooner you do, the sooner you will start seeing success coming your way. Still skeptical? Take a look at the experience Best Buy had that made sales shoot up 45% with just one change of a button. The company's online ordering process was frustrating customers who had to create an account to make a purchase. A man by the name of Jared Spool had designers remove this option for the ability to just continue without the account creation hassle. The result? A boost of sales that made Best Buy an extra $15 million. So small changes in designs makes huge effect on the sales. Let us move on to the lesson number 3. Focus on outliers instead of average customer to have greater success. There is more to humans than meets the eye. This makes the planning for the typical buyer pretty much obsolete. If you are in business or doing any type of marketing, stay away from this tactic. An example of this important principle dates all the way back to the 1950s. US military asked Lieutenant Gilbert Daniels to design the cockpit for high-speed aircrafts. The common assumption of the time was that designs should be done for the average man. But Daniel's experience measuring human hands taught him otherwise, and that no hand was exactly the same as average. This means that the size of the average man might not fit any of the pilots. Of the 4,000 pilots of the US military took measurements of, not one would have fit comfortably in the cockpit designed for the typical measurements. If you want to be inspirational and relevant, stop trying to use numbers to get an image of your average customer. Instead, focus on looking at the outlier buyers. What do they do? What do they like? A lot of sensationally unusual ideas will come from the taking this approach, and you will often feel appeal to a broader range of people. Some of the most surprising places could be the home to be the best ideas if you'll just abandon logic and take a look. Let me repeat the quotation on top 3 lessons. It is much easier to be fired for being illogical than it is for being unimaginative. The fatal issue is that logic always gets you exactly the same place as your competitors. And here are the 3 lessons. Companies like to treat humans as if they all behave in a predictable, rational way, but we don't. Changing the small things that seem insignificant can have a big impact on the way people act. And the average customer does not exist. You should instead cater to the outliers for better success. This is all about the alchemy, and which is a guide to making magic happen in your business life as well as in your current lifestyle. And it will help you to teach how to practice irrational thinking to stand out and come up with the powerful solutions to your problems as well as others' problems. See you in another book summary another time. Until then, stay connected, keep progressing. Do share lessons or do share your comments below in the below comments. Until then, stay connected, keep progressing. Do like, share, and subscribe.